Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about 5.1b factor polynomials by substitution. So before we start the lesson, so can you start do now? So there are two questions. So can you factor these expressions below? First one is you have four terms, but the highest degree is 3. And second term is x to the first power minus 81. And you know that this is a sum. Okay, I'll give you about 4 minutes. All right, let's go over together. First one, how do you do it? So when the highest degree is 3 and then you have 4 terms, mostly, right? Mostly you do the factor by grouping. So you group 2 terms each. They are all in the order of the degree. So you just group them like this, right? And what do? You factor the each group. First group common is x squared. Both of them has x squared, right? And x squared times x minus 3. Second one is common is 2. So 2 times x minus 3. And if you factor each group, you will see that both of groups have common, which is x minus 3, right? So you factor out x minus 3 again. And then in the other factor, you put the rest of them x squared and plus 2. So you will get x minus 3 times x squared plus 2. You should check if this is factorable. But x squared plus 2 is not factorable at all. So you can stop here. How about the second one? You know the x to the first x to the first power minus 81. 81 is 9 times 9, so 9 squared, right? In this case, x to the first power is x squared, right? So we do the a squared minus b squared form. So a is x squared, b is 9, x squared a squared minus b squared form, right? So a minus b, a plus b. You get that? So a is x squared, b is 9, a minus b, a plus b. So you will have x squared minus 9, x squared plus 9. We know that x squared plus 9 is not factorable when it is sum of the squares, right? X squared plus 3 squared is not factorable, sum. But x squared minus 3 squared, 9 is 3 squared, difference of squares is factorable. So again, a minus b, a plus b form, right? So x minus 3, x plus 3. So you should factor like this. All right. Then let's move on to today's lesson. Today's lesson is very similar. So let's skip. So we learn. So I just briefly mentioned that x to the first power is x squared, right? Then if we say that x to the first power is a squared, then what can be a? So x to the square, right? It's half of the power. So because a squared is x to the first power, then a is a half of this power. So a is x squared. Makes sense? Then if x squared 6 power is b squared, then what can you see? What can you say b about b? B is half of the exponent again, right? Then x to the third power. Look, if you square, go backward. If you square, what do? Square power to another power is you multiply, right? So 3 times 2 is 6. So when you do the backward, you divide it. So 6, half of 6 is 3. Do you understand? If it is familiar to you, today's lesson will be easier now. So you understand now, when you have x to the fourth power, if it is a squared, then a is half of the power, which is x squared. If a x squared, x6 power is b squared, it can be a, it doesn't matter, a, b doesn't matter, right? So b, it will be half of the power, which is x to the third power. So let's look at this. When do we use the substitution method? Take a look f of x and g of x. When do we use substitution method? Can you think about it? So now we use substitution method when the highest exponent is twice of the exponent of the midterm. Highest exponent, this one is 4, right? And this one is 6. Are they twice of the exponent of the midterm? The midterm. So this is 2, this is 4. It's twice, right? Double. Yeah. This is 3, this is 6. Yes, this is double, twice of this exponent of the midterm. And then we use a substitution method. So x to the fourth power will be a squared, x squared will be a. Here, g of x is x6 power will be a squared. You can use a b squared, doesn't matter. So a squared, and then x cubed will be a, or b squared, b, doesn't matter. So then you can use a quadratic equation again, you can factor. That's the point, all right? So this one, you can substitute like the 2a squared plus a minus 3. And then g of x will be a squared minus 14a minus 32. Now, if you look at this function, it's a quadratic equation, right? Now you know how to factor this, factor quadratic equation. You know how to factor it by an AC method or Kim's method, right? So how do you factor this? G of x will be f of x. Let's from here. So when you factor by using substitution, we did the first step, substitute a squared x4, a will be x squared, and then factor it, right? So how do you factor? If you use the Kim's method, what do you get? In the calculator, you will know the x equal to 1, the 0 value, right? When x is 1, y value is 0, then you get the factor x minus 1, but it's not x, a minus 1. And then a times what is 2a squared? So you get the 2a. A times, not negative 1 times what is negative 3? So positive 3. So 2a plus 3. Now what do you do? It was not, what is a? A was x squared, right? So you should replace the a's by x squared. So if you replace it, what happened? X squared minus 1 times 2x squared plus 3. So now both factors are quadratic equations, so you should check, right, if they are factorable. So these two terms, it's a sum with a square and the other number doesn't matter. If it is sum, it's not factorable at all. So any square number is a positive, so you cannot make a 0. You cannot find the zeros at all. Then you cannot factor, you don't need to. But this is x squared minus 1. You can factor, it means you can find the zeros. So which value make x squared equal to 1, right? 1 minus 1 is 0, right? So you understand, you know how to factor this. X squared minus 1 is x squared minus 1 square is 1, same thing. A squared minus b squared forms a minus b, a plus b, you remember, right? Or you can use the Kim's method again, if you want to. So you can complete the factor. X squared minus 1 is x minus 1 times x plus 1. 2x squared plus 3 is not factorable, so leave it. So this is the way you complete the factoring, right? So before you do this, now I want you to think about by yourself this one, right? You know how to factor. So a minus what? So 32 is a minus 16 times a plus 2, right? So you can check a minus 16 times a plus 2. And then replace a is x cubed minus 16 and x cubed plus 2. That will be the answer. X cubed minus 16 times x cubed plus 2. X cubed and then number, I will not go further. So just leave as it is. It's not square, all right? So now, can you take a look and then see which, can you find out what the error is and then correct them? So you can do it by yourself. 2 minutes. All right, let's do it together. So x to the fourth power, 2x squared minus 3. And fourth power is the twice of the second power, right? So we do the substitution. So x squared will be a, x4 will be a squared. So a squared plus 2a minus 3. Up to here, no problem. And then you factor it. So by using the Kim's method, a plus 3, a minus 1, right? So you know how to factor. So far looks good, right? So when you 3 and negative 1, if you add, it's positive 2, multiply negative 3, perfect. So either method you can use it, but now you replace a with x squared, x squared. So far, no problem. There's no error. So far, there's no error. What's the problem then? Oh, yeah, x squared plus 3 is not factorable because it's a plus. So x squared can never become negative, right? So you cannot make this 0. X squared cannot become negative 3. But x squared can become 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. You can find out, you can factor this one. So you shouldn't stop here, right? That's the error. So if you continue, what happened? X minus 1, x plus 1. You can factor x squared minus 1 like this. All right? That's the, so now you can finish the rest of the questions and then hand in. All right, we'll stop here.